Hello, hello. Okay, so we've still got a few minutes left before 7. So I just want to set up everything. Good evening. Why am I not seeing the chat? Okay, let's share the screen. I don't know why the chat is not working, which is a little frustrating. Let me just start clicking buttons and see if I can figure it out. Okay, I cannot seem to figure out the chat. And I don't want to end the stream because of that. Because this is the first one. I don't think it's going to be very busy. Might be no people, but that's fine. We will still make a recording that you can use at a later stage. So hi, welcome. My name is Talita. I am from ITTI and I do IT training on a daily basis. But in these sessions, we are going to study some CAT. In between all of the studying, I'm going to teach you a little bit of AI. You might already know it. I know the younger generation is on top of things, but if you don't, stick around and I'll show you how you can use AI to help you with your exams instead of just using it to ask general questions, which is also very good at. Okay, so on the screen, we are sharing ChatGPT. You can use ChatGPT or you can use Copilot. You can use any type of AI. There's a lot of them available. I don't know, I just like ChatGPT. I do also use Copilot sometimes, but I did test what I wanted to do tonight with Copilot, and it had issues with the downloadable textbooks. Gave me an error message, said it didn't want to read it due to security issues. I don't know, all kinds of things. So let's hope ChatGPT will work. I did test it a little bit, but I thought we were just going to do everything live so you can see if you do come, into issues, how you sort it. Okay, so this is not pre-recorded. I didn't test anything beforehand. Only a little bit of things I tested. I am at home. I'm just at my desk. There are people around. There are dogs. So if there are noises in the background, I apologize. If the dogs lose their minds for some reason, if they hear things, they go a little nuts, I'll just mute and let it pass. Okay. Hi. Good morning. All right. Children. There are children around. Can I help you with something? No. Okay, please. Go away. Okay. Thank you. That's an adult child. It's not a small child that I'm telling to go away. Just putting it out there. All right. So we're going to start with ChatGPT. So when you're using AI, AI is only as good as the information that it has to provide you with answers. Okay, so normal AIs like ChatGPT uses the internet to gather information, and then if you ask it a question, it gives you an answer. So what we're going to do while we study a particular subject, it doesn't necessarily just have to be CAT, is we're going to give it the information that we want us to provide us with the answers, because we don't want it to just give us general information back. We have a certain set of information that we used to study, and that's what we want to study on. All right, so a very nice thing that has been added quite recently is projects. So you can see it over here on the left-hand side. Okay, so maybe before we do projects, if you don't have, if you've never used any kind of AI, you can go to chatgtp.com on your browser, or you can download the app on your phone. I just like studying it on the computer. When I study, it's just easier. I do have it on my phone, however, but you can download the app, or you can just go to chatgtp.com on your PC. And then you can see here, mine says upgrade. I've got just a free version. At the bottom here, you can see it says induction IT, but at the top in the right-hand side, you'll see register or create an account, and you can just create a free account using a Gmail address. So you can create a free Gmail address and then use that Gmail address to log into things on the internet. All right, so once you have that account ready, because you want to log in and you want to keep all of your chats and everything together, obviously. Okay, so let's start. So we're going to go to projects. You'll see it says no projects yet, and we are going to create a new project. So we're just going to click on new, and let's just call it, let's call it cat grade 10. Then we keep all of the grade 10 things together. And I'm going to say create project. Right. So what this does is, instead of just chatting with ChatGTP and giving it my textbook, I'm going to put everything together in one project. So I should be able to give it some instructions. We'll check now what settings are available. And then whenever I come into the project and I chat to it inside of this project, it'll only look at the information that I have given it. Okay, I'm going to tell it I don't want it to go out on the internet to find answers. I only want to look at the textbook. Okay, so I know that different schools use different textbooks. I had to go with what I could find, which is, I think, what most people will do. You will have your textbook from school. I have that blue one that was on my ad left over from my kids when they were in school. But I cannot load that one on the computer. And I am a techie. I learn better on the machine than with my nose in a book. When I read stories, not work stuff or learn stuff. Okay, so what I did is I scrounged the internet to find textbooks that you can download. And I did find some. Let me show you. I have quite a lot of resources here. So I have found two different, if I look to the side, it's because I'm on my second screen. That might be weird. I'm sorry. Okay, because that's the bigger one. I found a grade 10 cat theory. Let's open it up. And this is done by the Department of Education. So I'm guessing it should have most of the correct information. It's quite a nice textbook. I did go through it a little bit. So we have that one. And then I have another one. This one, which is also, oh, it might be the same one. Let's have a look. Oh, no, it's not the same. Okay, so I did find it in two different places, but that is the references that I'm going to use. Okay, so there might be some definitions that are in your other textbooks that are not here, but you can always add them onto a Word doc or a Google Doc and link them here in your resources. Okay, then I've got, did I find... I really struggled to find past exam papers for grade 10. I don't know. I found a gazillion for the matrics. But yeah, I see here that I did find some. Let's just see. whether they work. Okay, so it doesn't really look like a paper. It looks just like a memo, but it'll work because we want to give it some examples of what our exams look like, and then it can do mock exams for us. So I study so much easier if I study off previous exams, like mock exams. I recently wrote 2 Microsoft certifications, and I studied for those by just doing mock exams, by taking the amount of data that I had to learn, creating a set of questions and answers, and studying that. Okay, so with Microsoft, I'm lucky because you can do mock exams on their website before you write your exam, but you can create your own mock exams with free stuff that is available. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. Okay, but a lot of talking, let's actually do something. Okay, so I'm just going to keep the resources, which is these 2 books. I'm just going to put them on my other screen next door. Okay, so you will see here that we've got our project. You can do chats in here, which we're going to do a little bit later. And then we've also got sources. So I'm going to upload both of those books. So I'm just going to drag the cat theory, and then I'm going to do the other one as well. I'm just waiting for it. You can see there that it is uploading. I don't want to break it right now and give it too much to do at once. Okay, it's done. And then we're going to do the second one. So if you've learned a little bit about AI and you've heard about the term agents, you will know that you can build an AI agent, and that AI agent can do a specific thing for you. So it'll have a specific topic and it'll have instructions to do something specific. We're not going to get into too much here. This one is giving us a problem. Why is it complaining? No, I don't want it in the chat. Did I? Oh my goodness. Hang on. I think I popped it in the wrong place. Let's try again. This one I wanted here. No, oh, that's why. No, I want sources. Add source. Okay, so for some reason it popped it into the chat instead of going to sources, ask no questions, hear no lies. Okay, so what I was saying, so you can build agents, and there are a lot of free tools around that you can use to practice that. But a project inside ChatGTP, you've also got projects inside the free version of Copilot. If you are lucky enough to have a licensed version of Copilot, which is Microsoft's AI, you will have access to notebooks. I have to say, though, I've tested that one. I'm not very impressed with it. We use those at work. I'm still getting around to liking notebooks. I'm sure it'll get better eventually. Okay, so right now we've got our documents uploaded. And let's have a look and see if we can give this project some instructions. So you can see if I click the 3 dots, I've got project settings, I've got pin project, let's pin it. So it's easily available. And let's go to project settings and see what we've got. So you see here, I've got project name, I've got instructions. So it says set context and customize how ChatGPT responds in this project. So we want to tell it, always answer with only facts found from the resources. Okay, so the first thing that you need to learn when you start working with AI is that it can hallucinate. It can think of things and it can give you content that doesn't exist. And the reason that this happens is because it was programmed to want to answer you. So if you ask it a question, let's say, for example, I ask it, how do I bake a banana bread? and it searches the internet to the farthest corners of the world, and it cannot find any recipe for how to make a banana bread. It's going to create one. Okay, so its mission in life is to provide you with an answer. So whenever you're using AI for anything, read through what it gives you and make sure that you look at citations where it got that information to make sure that it is correct. Okay. All right. So for now, this is just the instruction that I'm given. I'm going to say always answer with only facts found from the resources. Okay, so that it doesn't make up anything. Right, the memory, I'm going to leave it at default. It says project can access memories from outside chat and vice versa. This cannot be changed. So things that I've asked for it outside, you can see this is a new one. There's only 2 chats in here. So let's, okay, I can't change it. It's on default. Okay, library access enabled. This project can access your file library while it remains private. Sharing this project disables library access. Okay, I don't know what library this is referring to because obviously I didn't test this beforehand, but it's fine. We'll have a look at that later. What is important is the instructions for now. Okay, so let's save it. All right, so now we have our resources in here, and now we can actually start building or asking it questions. Right, so the thing that I found when I wrote exams very, very many years ago when I was in school, but still in adult life, I've written a lot of exams. I have a lot of Microsoft certifications. I've done a lot of diplomas, a lot of certifications, just like normal certificates. And for all of those, you write exams. And how you study is important, and not everyone studies the same. So it's important to try other means of studying if you're struggling. Instead of just sitting and reading through the book. Some people just sit and read and then the information goes in. I don't know how they do that. Other people sit and they write down summaries. So by writing it by repetition, it goes into their head. That's sort of how I studied at school. I wish I could have had all of these other ways, but my brain wasn't developed, so I couldn't think of other ways to study. Flashcards is a great, great way to study using repetition. And computer application technology has a lot of definitions. And I believe if you understand those definitions, you know what they are, you know where they are used, whether it's a component or it's a process, then it will be much easier for you to understand the questions in the exams. Okay, so learning the definitions, if I had to do CAT at school, because I'm that old, we didn't have CAT when I was at school, I had to go and study computers afterwards. If you study the definitions, you will be okay. All right. So let's, what did we say are we going to do? We're going to do chapter 1, right? So let's chat to ChatGPT, and let me show you how I do it. So I'm going to say I'm writing exams on chapter 1. Obviously, when you do this, you're going to give it the chapters that you have to learn. You may have to do chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. But for today, we're just going to do chapter 1. Okay, so I'm going to say I'm writing exams on chapter 1. Give me a list. Let's say, give me a comprehensive list of definitions with their explanations on what it is. In table format. So then we can put it somewhere else. Let's see what it does. Okay, so what it's saying it's searching. So it's going to go and look at the resources that I've given it, and then it's going to take the information from that resource. Okay, so it says, absolutely, I've based this only on chapter 1 of the CAT Grade 10 theory book you uploaded. Chapter 1 is concepts of computing and covers 5 units: ICT, data information, computers, types of computers, and economic benefits. Alrighty. More relevant, personalized replies. Okay, so ChatGPT has updated and it says it's now better at keeping its memory. Great, that's nice. Thank you. All right. So here we have now got a table. We've got a term, we've got a definition, and we have got what to remember for the exam. Okay, so it is very important that you understand these concepts, the definitions, that you don't just learn it like a parrot. You need to understand it if you want to answer questions about it later. Obvious, that's quite obvious. Okay, so it's given us quite a lot of information. So let's take this information. I'm just browsing quickly through what it's given us. Easy way to remember the types. Here it's gone off on its little tangent. This is not what I asked it to do. You can see it does whatever it wants sometimes. This is not in a table format. Okay. Economic benefits, high priority definitions. Nice. Okay, then it says one exam chain you should know perfectly: data, input, processing, information, output, storage, communication. I'm guessing that is the way that they teach it. I have not gone through any of these textbooks before, so I'm going to be learning with you guys. Okay, and remember, bad data equals gigo equals bad information output. I know this. Garbage in, garbage out. I use this on a daily basis in my job. Can give you a gazillion examples of this. Yeah. Okay, so this says this covers the definition and core concepts from all 5 sections of chapter 1, rather than only the terms that happen to appear in the activities. Okay, so obviously it might have missed some. It's not perfect, but this is a good place to start. So I would want to put this on a document. I did start, creating like a definitions book, but I thought, let me start everything from scratch and do it together with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up a Word doc. And I have obviously got Word on my computer because I have a Microsoft license. But if you do not have a Microsoft license, you can use Google. You have access to Google Docs. It's for free. You can also use Microsoft 365 online. So it's basically Office. It's for free. You can log in to, I don't know if this link is still working. You can log into office.com. They've now changed it to Copilot 365 something, whatever, but it used to be www.office.com. You can log on there. It will open a Copilot page, but you can create an account and use that same Gmail account that you use everywhere else. Log in and you will have access to Word and Excel, everything online for free. So you can't download the apps to your machine, but you can use them online and you can put all of these documents in there and use them. I actually want to go and have a look if we have got a little bit of Copilot access on the online versions, on the free versions, which will be great. It's great to have Copilot inside your documents. It's like the best search ever. Okay, so, but I'm not sure. We can do that in a future video and look a little bit at what we have available for Copilot. All right, for now, I am just going to put it into Word. You can see here's my Word document, but I just have it on the screen next door. I'm just going to copy and paste into it. Okay, I don't want to make this screen half, then it's going to be small. So I'm going to go right to the top where it started. And then at the bottom, just going to scroll down. And you can see at the bottom of every chat, you should have a little copy button. Just go all the way to the bottom again. Okay, so you can see here, this is the answer, and it says copy response. I'm just going to click copy response. I've got my document, and now I can paste it in here. Okay, so in a matter of, let's say 10 minutes, because I talked a lot in between, in a matter of 10 minutes, you have summarized all of the definitions for chapter 1. Okay, you can now go and read through these. And if you have not slept in class, you should remember where this was discussed, and then you'll know whether it has missed something or not. Okay, unfortunately, I am not sitting in class, so I don't know how they explain this. I don't know how they do the concepts. So if there is anyone that would like to help and tell me, how was this? Did it do a good job? Will this assist you to study for your exams? For me personally, I would just do mock exams, mock exams, mock exams. But again, knowing the definitions, yeah, I think if I was still in school, I would just summarize the definitions, learn them, and do the previous exams over and over, as many of them as I can. My kids haven't been in school for quite a few years, but when they were in school, I used to download these mock exams from the Department of Education. I did add the links onto my website. If you're not aware of this, you can download them. They are a little bit spotty with uploading new ones, but there are a lot of old ones available. Again, I've struggled to get grade 10 and grade 11 CAT exams. If there's anyone out here that want to help me, if you have a link somewhere, please send it to me. It's going to help with our future study sessions. But yeah, I would just definitions and mock exams. Okay, all right. So we have actually now downloaded it. We can save it. I wanted it to be a little bit more in a table format, and it doesn't really look like it is in table format at the moment. So I have got access to Copilot in my apps, which is actually making me lazy, I have to say. But let's see what it can do. So I want to remove the top part, because this is actually where it answered my question, where it says absolutely I've based what. I just want the definitions. And I just want to go down and see what else it's put in between. It says the textbook explains that an ICT system must be able to receive, store, retrieve, manipulate, and transmit data in order to function, data and information. Okay, so there's another table. Okay, so let's leave it just like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Copilot, oh, it's a little slow. Look at the data. I want everything to be in table format for easy studying. Okay, I'm not going to give it too much information because we are testing and seeing what it does. But prompting AI, that's what you call when you talk to it. You prompt it, it's a prompt. The more detailed your prompt is, the better whatever you get back is going to be. All right, so it is currently planning. So it's saying I'll convert the remaining non-table study notes into clear tables, including the key reminders, easy to remember lists, and exam chains, while keeping the existing table-based structure intact. Okay. I think it's just appeasing me. But let's see what it does. It's still busy. Okay, so it's done. Reasoning completed in 4 steps. Converted the remaining non-table study notes into table. Okay, so it's just added everything into a table. So I'm just going to say done. All right, so here we have our term, ICT. What does it mean? Information and communication technology. is a field related to computers and communication networks. It can also include audio-visual technologies such as film and digital productions. ICT is more than just computers. It includes computers, communication networks, and related digital technologies. Okay, so we are going to start building a definition dictionary, basically. So I'm going to schedule as many lives as I can squeeze in, and we will do it per chapter. The better I get, the more chapters we'll do at once. Okay, so we might get to a stage where we do 3 chapters at once. I don't want to give it too much information. The free versions of AI sometimes do get a little bit confused if you give it too much information to work with. And I think a chapter at a time is just fine for it. It should be able to take the whole textbook and do everything for us. We should be able to just say, look at this textbook and create me a definition dictionary. Okay, but the free versions, as I've noticed, doesn't always work that well with too much information all at once. Okay, but this is just enough information for it to have given us exactly what we needed. Okay, so obviously this is the first live, and my advertising skills are not as awesome as it could be, but if you send me your questions, we can actually do some study sessions, right? What I want to do now is I just want to quickly show you how you can create your own flashcards, like online. You don't have to print them out, although I did at school print flashcards for my kids for mathematics because we all suck at mathematics, and they worked great at learning the definitions. So you can create a PowerPoint presentation, and each slide can be a side of a flashcard. Okay, it doesn't need to be difficult. So I did create one earlier because it takes a little bit of time, and you can use, I used Copilot to do it, let me not lie to you, but it does take a long time to do a presentation. I don't know why. So what I did is I just fed it some definitions, and the prompt I gave it was create me a PowerPoint presentation that will work as exam prep. One slide is a question, the next slide is an answer. The next slide is a question, the next slide is an answer. So when you open it up on your phone or on your computer, you can sit and say ICT. What does it mean? Okay, when you go to the next one, the answer says hardware, software, data, people, and communications. Okay, so for me, I would want to add information, communication, technology, because that's what ICT stands for, right? So this was just a little bit of a test, but you can see how it doesn't always do what you want it to do. So next one, data. What is data? It's raw facts, I think. Raw facts. Okay, question, answer, question, answer. Right, so this is how you can create flashcards online. And you can do these flashcards over and over and over and over until the definition goes into your head. Okay, but I want us to try and do a little bit of a study session. We've taken up half an hour now, and I've shown you a little bit on how you can summarize. So the way that you summarize your definitions, you can also summarize certain points. Okay, but you can also use AI if you don't understand something. Okay, so let's go back to our project. And then you will see, because I'm in my project, the little chat thing is at the bottom here. So I can say, explain data to me like I am a 5-year-old and know nothing. So this might look a little weird, and I have to tell you that I use this on a daily basis in a corporate environment where I work to assist people and explain concepts to them that they don't understand. I train thousands of people every month on using Microsoft products, cloud concepts, on using AI. And if you think you don't know anything, there are a lot of older adults that still don't understand technology. Okay, so while you are sitting in your own space, you can tell AI that I don't absolutely have no idea what this means and ask it to explain it to you like you're a 5-year-old. So I'm going to say explain data to me. So like I'm a 5-year-old. Let's just go. Okay, so now it's going to say, let's make data really simple. Okay, imagine you have a box of Lego. You have a box containing 5 red blocks, 3 blue blocks, 2 green blocks. Those things are just pieces of information sitting there. That's actually basically what data is. So what is data? Data is raw information that has not been processed yet. Your CAT textbooks describe data as things like text, words, numbers, or symbols that have not yet been processed. Think data equals stuff we have collected but haven't made sense of yet. Okay, examples with Apple. So I have to say, I don't really like that explanation. It doesn't really make any sense to me. I don't know, maybe the Legos work for you. So let's try apples. Imagine I tell you 5, 8, 3, 10. Those are data. You don't really know what they mean yet. Maybe there are 5 apples, 8 oranges, 3 bananas, 10 grapes. Until we give the numbers some meaning, they just raw data. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense for me. Okay, so here's a CAT example. Imagine your teacher writes down the marks of 5 learners. 45, 72, 61, 38, 84. I'm probably the one at the bottom there. These numbers are data. Why? Because they are just individual marks that have been collected. Okay, so now imagine the computer calculates average mark equals 60%. That is information. Why? Because the computer processed the data and produced something meaningful. Okay, your textbook uses the same basic idea. Individual test results are data, while calculated tools and averages that show learners performed are information. Okay, the easiest way to remember it, think of making a cake. Ingredients equals your data. You mix and cook them. That's the processing. Your finished cake, that's your information. All right, that one makes a little bit more sense. Okay, so if your exam asks what is data, right? Data is raw, unprocessed text, words, numbers, or symbols. Okay, so that's the definition that you should remember. Right, and then there are some things that you shouldn't confuse. So data equals the raw stuff. Processing is working with that raw data, and then information is what is coming out after the processing. Right, so if you look at what we've done today, the data would be the textbook that I've uploaded. The processing was using ChatGPT to extract the data from the textbook and process or turn it into a definitions list. And the information is the Word doc that we then completed. Okay, so that explains to you what data processing and information is. So hopefully that helps you a little bit going forward. Okay. All right, you can see that ChatGPT is constantly telling me to upgrade. It says improve accuracy for problem solving. One other thing that you have to remember with ChatGPT is if you give it pictures, it cuts you off. It tells you that you've used up your clever ChatGPT for the day, and then you can only use it again 12 hours later. So I try and avoid uploading pictures and things to it. Sorry. Then you can talk to it a little bit longer before it tells you that it's giving you the less clever version. Right, so you can still continue to talk to it, even though it says it's no longer giving you the upgraded model, whatever it is. Okay, all right, so that is one way of using AI to explain to you a concept that you don't understand. And if this still doesn't make sense, continue to say, I don't understand. try explaining it a different way. Okay, so let's try that. So let's say I still don't understand. I am older. Let's not put my age in there. And struggle with IT concepts. Please try explaining another way. Okay, so you can see I made some spelling errors because I was typing very fast. This is AI. You don't need to fix. You can just move right along. It'll understand you. Okay, so let's say if it explains data in a different way. So we'll say, of course, let's forget the technical language for a moment. The word data sounds complicated, but the idea is very simple. Think about a teacher taking attendance. Imagine your teacher looks around the classroom and writes, learner present, learner present, learner present. At this point, the teacher has collected the data. Okay, why is it data? Because the teacher has simply collected the facts. She hasn't done anything to those facts yet. Let me just scroll. Okay, so the data is yes, yes, no, that's it. Now the teacher does something with the data. At the end of the term, the teacher asks, how many times was David absent? She looks through all of the attendance records and counts the number of no entries for David. Suppose she gets, David was absent 8 times. Now we have information. Why? Because we did something with the data to produce a useful answer. Okay, this is the difference. Think about it like this. Data, David no, David yes, David no, David yes, David no. These are just the individual facts that were collected. So the information, David was absent 3 times. Now the facts have been processed into something meaningful. Okay, and then it gives us an example and another example and another example. So when you are struggling with a particular definition, this is a great way to get understanding of that. So even though you sit in class and someone explains something to you, and I'm not dishing any teachers, not by any means, some kids just learn differently. Okay, but you can find out what is the best way to get things into your head. As I said, for me, it's doing exam papers. All right, so for the next live, what we're going to do is we're going to actually work through an exam paper, and we're going to use my methods to see if we can get the correct answers and get all of these definitions into our heads. All right, I don't want to just sit here and read through the textbook because that never worked for me and it's not going to work for a lot of you. Okay, I want to give you actual knowledge that you can use going forward, that you can use for all of your subjects, not just CAT. All right. Okay, so I think I've covered everything that I wanted to share with you guys today. I wanted you to see that you can use free versions of AI to help you study, and you really can. It makes your life so much easier. We spend a lot of time sitting, writing summaries, and if you are a person that learns while you are writing, that's great. If you are a person that don't learn by doing that writing, you're wasting all of those hours sitting and doing the writing while you can have the computer do the summarizing for you. Okay, so find what works for you and then find ways to make that easier for yourself. Right, I'm going to add the link to all of the resources below. You can go and download these and you can go and create your own definitions if you want. I'm also going to be making this definition document available on the website, and you can download it if you want to. I'm just going to make it a little bit prettier because I didn't spend a lot of time on it right now, but it was more about the steps than the end product for me. I'll make that available on the website, and then I think all of the links are already available in the description. I'll just double check. If you have any questions, ITTI has got socials on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, I think. You can go and ask your questions there. And if there is a particular definition or particular chapter or anything that you want us to work through, let me know and we can do that. Otherwise, I am going to keep on doing the definitions, and I also want to book some lives where we can actually work through the exams. So if you have some old exams available, I would so much appreciate it if you would share them with me for grade 10. I have searched the internet high and low. I am still going to be searching and seeing if I can find some more. I have a lot for grade 10, but not a lot for 11 and grade 10 and 11. So if you have any available, please share them. My email is available below. Right. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.